Talk, shop, pop, movies.
Ahoy there, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile, and if you're a convicted cinephile yourself, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. On my channel, I like to talk, shop, and pop open, that is, movies and physical media. So, today I'm here to do the 25 Actors Challenge set upon us by our good buddy Huck over at Huck's Pop Culture a Cafe. Go subscribe to him if you're not. I'm sure you are if you're already watching me. And if you got here from there, subscribe to me. We're all cool, but let's get started. I was lucky, and I just kind of kept making a stack, like I said, and when I got done and I was counting them, I was at 24 plus my ensemble, so I just needed to go back and grab one more. So I was just like, all right, who am I going to pick? And I grabbed it. So the one I went back and grabbed last, one of my all-time favorite comedies, Nicolas Cage, stars in the Coen Brothers classic, Raising Arizona. I was debating doing another Nicolas Cage film, but that's one I might pick for a director in the future. So that's why I went with this one, because I have a lot of Coen Brothers movies to choose from, and not as many of that other director to choose from, or Nicolas Cage for that matter. All right, next. One of my all-time favorite actors who I could not pick. It was hard to pick, so I went with one of my favorite performances of his. R.I.P., arguably the greatest actor of his generation, I would say, Mr. Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Master. This also has my personal favorite Joaquin Phoenix performance in it, but since I didn't want to pick this I wanted to pick this for Philip Seymour Hoffman, because it's one of my favorite lead performances he ever had, I couldn't pick it for Joaquin, so you might see him later for something else, let's just say that. And I just realized there was an actor that I thought of, that I just remembered, that I didn't grab a movie for. Oh wait, now there's two. I'll be right back. I knew that would happen. I thought of a third one too, but I was like, all right, I'm just going to do the two that I just popped in my head. So those two are, and I replaced people who were in here, the other greatest actor of his generation, I would say, arguably the greatest. I just thought of another one. Son of a bitch. See, now it's hard when you think of the ones you forgot in the first place because you're in such a hurry. All right. Anyways, we're doing this guy no matter what. Daniel Day-Lewis. So I had to pick Gangs of New York. This isn't my favorite film he's in necessarily. I love the movie, but his performance is ridiculously good. So there's that. So we're going to pick him for that. Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis was making this. I thought he was one of the first ones I thought of, and then by the time I started stacking movies, he just crossed my mind for some reason. But yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis, one of the best actors of all time, arguably the best living actor we have right now. Tommy Lee Jones. I love Tommy Lee Jones so much. And the other guy I just remembered is also in this movie, so I'll just say he's in every movie though. The chameleon Gary Oldman is who I just popped in my head. I like character actors, so that's like who I kind of want to pop some of those guys in here. But I'm going to go with my favorite Oliver Stone film, JFK. Tommy Lee Jones is in a Oscar-nominated supporting role in this movie. Gary Oldman is in this movie. Kevin Costner is awesome in this movie. He's got a great ensemble, but it's not my ensemble pick. But this is far and away my favorite Oliver Stone film. And Tommy Lee Jones is entertaining as hell in this movie. One of the best movies of all time here. I think it's the #1 rated movie on IMDb as well. Shawshank Redemption. I'm picking this for Morgan Freeman, because who does not love Morgan Freeman? Tim Robbins is one that I kind of thought about putting him in here, but he is vicariously through Morgan Freeman. And if you're going to pick up Tim Robbins movie, there's like a 40% chance at least that it's going to be Shawshank Redemption anyways. So I'll go with Morgan Freeman for this. And it's one of the best movies ever. Great director, but one I have another film of that I like just as much as this, so I didn't mind putting this in this one. Another great character actor who kind of I don't know, he's doing a lot of TV stuff now, but I just haven't seen in years, it seems like. Who I've always loved. Paul Giamatti in Sideways. He should have been nominated for Best Actor this year. 2004 was a ridiculous year. There were so many actors who should have been nominated, like Jim Carrey for Eternal Sunshine, to add another one. But 2004 was a banger year, as the kids say, for films. But this one, original screenplay. This movie's hilarious. I liked it the first time I saw it, and it's like a fine wine, ha ha ha, pun intended, it ages even better. Spotlight. And I'm choosing Spotlight for Mark Ruffalo, who I've always loved ever since I saw him back in 2004 in Collateral and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He was just like in everything that year. I was like, who the hell is this guy? He came out of nowhere. And then ever since, he's been, I think nominated 3 times at the Oscars, all of which for supporting actor, I believe, because he's one of the best supporting actors we have out there, I would say. He can lead a movie if he needs to, but he's another guy who'll make your movie better no matter what. Here's Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker. Yeah, it's his Oscar-winning performance. You can't go wrong. I love his performance in this movie. The movie's great. I've only watched it once. I haven't even watched it since I got this, honestly. I saw it in theaters. And I really, really liked it. But I did not choose it for this. But he's an amazing actor, regardless. He's in other great movies like Her. I could have easily chosen that. But I went with this one just for the fact that Todd Phillips directed this. And once again, there's very few actresses in it to get in the way to double choose, essentially. And I doubt I'll pick Todd Phillips for director. Just saying. R.I.P. to this fella as well. The late, great Bill Paxton in Twister, one of all my all-time favorite little action movies. Billy Pax, as I used to call him. Not really. But yeah, if you're going to pick a Bill Paxton movie, there's few better choices, I would imagine, than Twister, especially ones where he plays the straight-up lead of the film. So that's why I went with Twister. Dustin Hoffman, in Rain Man, one of my all-time favorite movies that I grew up watching a lot. So I get my Tom Cruise in here, one of my favorite films of his, and one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Dustin Hoffman performance of all time. Once again, a Best Picture winner, Best Actor winner for Dustin Hoffman, etc., etc. Rain Man's fantastic. Speaking of Toms, here's the other Tom. He's got to be in here somewhere, right? I just went with Forrest Gump because, once again, it's his Best Picture Oscar-winning performance. See a pattern here? But yeah, Tom Hanks, effortless perfection, my wife and I say. As long as he's not trying to do a really fake accent, with the exception of this movie, because he's mimicking the kid actor who plays him. Like, that's the kid's real accent. And Tom Hanks is just mimicking the kid's real accent, so it's adorable. I gotta go for my comedic actors here. Oddly enough, I picked a drama with one of them, but it's a funny drama. Jim Carrey, I was obsessed with as a kid. And his performance in Man on the Moon is just obscene, and obscenely good, not obscene. The fact he wasn't nominated at the Oscars for this is pathetic. He could have won, I'd say, that year. I think part of the reason he wasn't nominated is because he was such a dick to everyone on set, because he was like literally being Andy Kaufman to the extent of his being. But I love this movie regardless. And it's probably my favorite acting performance of his, because like it's a biopic performance, but it's one where he's like embodies this person as accurately as anyone I've ever seen do. The other comedic actor I couldn't not have in my set, R.I.P. yet again. He died at the age of 33 years old, which is ridiculous thinking of that I'm older than him when he passed away now. Mr. Chris Farley in Almost Heroes. I would have picked Tommy Boy, but I don't own Tommy Boy for some reason at the moment. It's honestly one of my favorite movies of all time, and for some reason I don't have it. But Almost Heroes is one of the most underrated comedies of all time. It's a Christopher Guest film. Matthew Perry's hilarious. He was always my favorite, like on Friends at the time. Still is. It's pretty much the reason I can rewatch Friends over and over again, is because Matthew Perry is hilarious. He's sarcastic like me. But yeah, give Almost Heroes a chance. It needs a Blu-ray still. Warner Archive has it on DVD, so if they could put it on Blu-ray, I'd buy that day one. This guy here is another one that was tough to pick the movie. I already have him in Spotlight, but I had to pick his own movie, and that is Mr. Michael Keaton for Birdman. I almost said Birdman. I almost picked Birdman, but I didn't for a reason. You'll see why soon. Beetlejuice. Yes, I almost picked Beetlejuice for my B movie as well. I had Boogie Nights and Beetlejuice, and I landed on Back to the Future. And even my 4-year-old's obsessed with this movie now, so, I'm doing something right. Another one I've grew up watching. I had this taped off TV, so I'd watch it over and over and over again, commercials and all, when I was a kid. And yeah, I love Beetlejuice. It's amazing. I'm like, this movie has such a good cast. I forgot who I picked it for. 2 of these actors in this movie are two that I had in my stack and took out of the stack to replace with other actors. But they're all in this one. But I couldn't deny this man's... Oh, he's so good. And I just watched him yesterday for the first time in Starman. That would be Mr. Jeff Bridges. In True Grit, another Coen Brothers movie I love. It's probably my third favorite Coen Brothers movie, maybe, depending on the mood. But yeah, I mean, he got him in, like, what, Big Lebowski and all that stuff, too. But I love True Grit, and I was going to have Matt Damon and trying to get Josh Brolin in there somewhere. I had The Martian in my pile, and I had Good Will Hunting in my pile at one point. But then I was like, oh, Tommy Lee Jones, and then I put that back in. So I love Matt Damon. No offense. He's honestly in this stack, like, at least one more time. So you get this amazing ensemble of actors. I cannot have DiCaprio, right? And he's, once again, in here like 3 times. But the DiCaprio-specific movie I have chosen is What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And you got Johnny Depp in there. And you got John C. Reilly, who is one of my favorite actors ever. And Crispin Glover, who's one of my favorite actors ever. Like I said, the character actors are the ones I love. So I can kind of shoehorn them into here. I like them more than all those guys, more than Johnny Depp. But I still picked a Johnny Depp movie just because it's also my favorite Tim Burton movie, Ed Wood. If he should have been nominated and won an Oscar for anything in his life, it was Ed Wood. Tim Burton and Johnny Depp's best film ever. I'll just leave it at that. I got Arnie. Some Arnie Schwarzenegger. Arnold Braunschweiger. I picked T2 this time. A lot of T's. I picked Total Recall for my ABC challenge. Almost picked this one. But if I'm going straight Arnie performance, it doesn't get better than T2. I mean, he's playing a robot. And he's quite robotic. Christian Bale. Probably my personal favorite actor living today. Him and Daniel Day-Lewis. They're like right there. He's just a little younger, so maybe give DDL the edge on that one. But I went with American Psycho because it's just a damn good performance of his before he was like super popular when he became Batman and all that. And another actor I just realized is in this movie who I almost picked and couldn't think of a movie to pick him just for. Was Willem Dafoe. Another amazing supporting actor who I love and everything. So I get him in here at least. Here's a supporting / character actor who I love with a passion and have loved forever. And then he came out in Whiplash and won an Oscar, and everyone is obsessed with him now. Mr. J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson from SpiderMan. That's when I fell in love with him 12 years before this ever came out. Django Unchained, my favorite Quentin Tarantino film of all time, at least at the moment. But I'm picking this for Christoph Waltz because I already picked Inglourious Bastards, so I could pick up for that. And I have Brad Pitt, but I already picked Inglourious Bastards, so I couldn't pick him for that. You'll see what's next. So Christoph Waltz for this. He's amazing. Oscar-winning performance, just like Inglourious Bastards. Jamie Foxx is in it as well. You know, I was debating putting Ray in here, but besides this and Ray, there's nothing I like. And then Collateral that he's in that I like, but he's in there. Here's the other one, Mr. Brad Pitt. Mr. Bradley Armpit for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the movie he finally won an Oscar for. So hurrah for you, sir. And once again, you got DiCaprio and you got Margot Robbie, who's an up-and-coming actress, if there ever was one. One I need to watch again. I liked it the first time I saw it. I really liked it the second time I saw it. I have a feeling I'm going to love it the third time I watch it. Jeff Goldblum. Because Jeff Goldblum, right? Come on. You got to go The Fly. I thought about doing Jurassic Park, but I may or may not pick that for something else in the future. I want to leave my options open, as it were. So let's go. Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, my favorite David Cronenberg film. I almost regret putting this in here now, but it was the first one I chose, and it was the base of my pile because it's so thick. Ryan Gosling in Drive. He's one of those actors who, you know, I like him in everything, but I love him in this movie, and he barely does anything. So, what's that? I just realized I forgot to do someone else. Son of a bitch. You know what? X-nay this one. I'll be right back. I'm not gonna let that slide because this guy was one of the first ones I thought of, just like, you know, Gary Oldman. Then he slipped my mind when I was picking stuff. Another DiCaprio movie, but this is my favorite performance by Tom Hardy that I've ever seen. I thought he was as good or better than DiCaprio in this movie, The Revenant. So I'm going with that one. I love Tom Hardy. Gotta have him in here somewhere. And I don't think he showed up in any of the other picks I had. So that's why I had to go. I had to correct that. I love you, Ryan Gosling, but outside of Drive, I only like you. Let me put it that way. But I love Tom Hardy and everything he does. Last but not least, I gotta go with some BBC. Some brilliant Bruce Campbell. In what's probably his best performance, Bubba Hotep. I love this movie. It's hilarious. It's surprisingly full of heart and emotion for a movie that's about a mummy that sucks the souls out of old folks out of their assholes. But Bruce Campbell plays Elvis Presley, as you can see here. And Ozzie Davis is in it, plays JFK, who was dyed black, and they took out a piece of his brain and stuck him in an old folks' home for ensemble film. The goal was to try to pick a film with an all-male cast. Most of the movies I'd pick, like Spotlight, was almost there because it has like Rachel McAdams in it, which would have been a good one to pick for that. And then right above Spotlight, I had this on my shelf, and I was like, that one is perfect because it is about the military, and it's, you know, there were women in the military back in 1944, and that is Saving Private Ryan. Another one with Tom Hanks. Another one I can sneak Matt Damon into. It's got an amazing ensemble cast. On top of the main people, you also got Paul Giamatti in there. Again, you got Ted Danson in a little bit part. Tom Sizemore. You got everyone's favorite Nathan Fillion is in there, who's Private James Ryan from Minnesota when they mistakenly find him before they find Matt Damon in there. But it's also an amazing Steven Spielberg movie. So I don't have this for Spielberg anymore, but luckily I love basically all but 2 of the movies in my collection that he's directed, so I can randomly grab any Spielberg movie and be happy with it. Here comes Oliver. You gonna come over now? Right before I'm done? Is that what you're doing? You gotta do that to me? Anyways, yes. Huck, thank you for the fun challenge. Now I get to put all these back in their various shelves because none of them go next to each other. I forgot to do Sam Rockwell. I just realized that. God, I was gonna grab Moon. I literally walked over there to grab Moon and then forgot. I am Derek, the convicted cinephile. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to Huck. Watch all these other videos everybody's been doing. Bob's Blu-rays did one first. That's how I actually saw this before Huck video even popped up in my feed. And I'm sure there'll be 13 other ones today before mine uploads. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Talk, shop, pop, movies.